name is Haley. We're coming from the Animal Emergency and Referral Center in Minnesota. Today we're going to talk about clipper blade maintenance and clipper maintenance today. So first I want to talk about the different disinfectants that we use and how to clean an actual clipper blade. Here we use the Andis Cool Care Plus clipper blade wash, and then we have it in two different types. It's the same stuff, it's just in different forms to make it easier to clean clipper blades depending on how dirty they are. I don't have dirty ones today, so we'll just pretend. If you just start using these ones, we often use for shaving IV catheters, blood pressures. We can carry it around to kennels. It's really easy to use. Generally, it's not going to be outwardly dirty. You're not going to see a lot of blood and things like that on this type. So usually I'll just use the regular spray, which is pretty easy to use. The main thing that you want to remember with this is your clipper has to always be facing downward. We don't want that extra clipper lube to get up into the machine because it can cause extra problems for that. So you just have to shake it up, turn on your clipper blade, spray it. You can also spray the top part, just don't get up too far. As long as you're remaining with the clipper blade down, you're okay. Then I'll turn it off. I'll get any excess hair or anything that was left over with my toothbrush. So we have wire brushes and such here. I don't generally recommend those to use so much on the clipper blades because it can be damaging to them. The toothbrushes are a lot better. After that, I'm still keeping my clippers down. I'm going to remove my blade. I'm going to wipe off the excess moisture here so that it's not going up into my thing. You can also wipe off the excess moisture on your actual blade, and then you're good to go with that. The other thing to remember is a lot of times we get extra hair, like you can see there. We want to get rid of that because that can also get into your clipper and cause you extra problems. This piece just snaps right off. Sometimes there's a pad, sometimes that falls off and you don't have one. I'll just get the extra hair off of there. Sometimes it'll be gunked in there. You can use this to wipe that off. Otherwise, we like to use just regular old canned air. And that really helps you get stuff out of that groove that you can't get out with the toothbrush. And you can use that on anything, really. So then I'll just pop that right back on. I can put this back on, and I'll put it back in the charger in the treatment area, and that one is ready for use. Here at the clinic, it's policy to clean clipper blades between every use, just to make sure that they're really clean for the next patient. The next thing I want to talk about is for your really dirty clipper blades that you use for wound repairs, laceration repairs, that sort of thing. We have separate clippers that we label with nail polish on the back, so that we make sure we keep those for those sorts of things and not use them on our really clean, like surgical incisions that we're shaving for and those sorts of things. We also have a laceration repair dedicated clipper that we keep in the treatment area. So if this one were covered in blood and whatever else from our wound repair, I prefer to use this kind. You can still use that, but sometimes it's easier with this if there's a lot of gunked up things on there. Same rules apply, except you're just going to dip it in just slightly just so that the moving part of the blade is in the lubricant. Kind of let that drain off. Same thing, I can use my toothbrush. I usually don't leave the clipper on just because the toothbrush will actually get into the blade and then you're cutting your toothbrush and it's going to dull up your blade. So I usually keep the blade off. Wipe that off. Sometimes you'll need extra care and extra time and do it a couple times if it's fully full of whatever is on there. So I'll also take it off and I'll use my canned air to get any extra hair from the middle part. And then you can do that as many times as needed, just making sure that you're keeping the blade pointed downward. And also anytime you're putting your clipper back on, you should turn it on first before. That way the moving parts connect the way that they're supposed to so that they'll function properly for you. So then I'm just going to wipe all that extra stuff off, and we're almost ready to go. At this point, the way these things work with their disinfectant properties is you really want to spray them down and let them sit for 10 minutes before you use them. That's the best way to make sure that it's properly disinfected. So once I have the clipper blade totally clean, I'll just spray it down and let it sit for 10 minutes and then wipe off the excess moisture and you'll be ready to use it again. So that's what I wanted to talk about with that. The next piece of information will be troubleshooting. Sometimes you'll clean your blades and you'll go to use them again and they're not working very well, and you want to try to figure out what you can do to see if it's a blade problem or if it needs to be sharpened. Generally what I'll do is when you go to use your blade, be aware of what your patient is like. Maybe your patient has really sensitive skin, or they have warts, or there's something going on with their skin and the blade doesn't work very well. It's possible that it's just that patient. You just want to be really careful. 40 blades are very short and cutting the hair very short, so it's very possible to cut those patients. So just keeping those things in mind. If you go to use it and it gets really loud and it's just pulling and it's not cutting the hair, that's generally a sign that your clipper blade is dull. Otherwise, the next thing I would say is sometimes even when you get a clipper blade back from being sharpened and it's still running really loud and not working very well, it's possible that your actual blade drive in the clipper needs to be replaced. And in that case, I would want you to contact me or whoever is in charge of clipper blades at that time to replace those. They're very cheap, they're only a couple bucks, and it's just this part on here and it helps to keep those clippers running smoothly. If your blades still aren't working very well, you can go under the treatment sink, and we have a couple bins to put those blades. Needs to be sharpened, and we also have a bin that's ready to use new blades if there's not enough on the floor and you want to grab a new one. Those are available. If there's something really wrong with the clipper blade, like a tooth is broken or it cut a patient, put a note on that and still put it in the bin for me so that I know that we need to replace those. Otherwise, as far as whatever you use for cleaning, just whatever you have available. There's no specific towel, or you can use gauze or whatever is available to you. Like I said, toothbrush is more beneficial, I think, than the wire brushes. That's all I have for you today about clipper blade maintenance and clipper blade cleaning. Just contact me if you have any questions or need any help with clipper blades.